Meme, also known as Memsnaij. If you are new, you know what to do. Click the subscribe button to join the family. For the rest of you, thank you so much for sticking around. So I've gotten some questions since my parent-teachers Q&A video that I did 2 weeks ago, I think. The number one question I've gotten from a lot of parents and some teachers is, how do you teach this? How do you teach that? In one of my videos, I said think developmental, not subject. And I would say the same thing to answer this question. Developmental. People asking, how do I teach them math? How do I teach them? They're struggling with numbers. Think developmental is my answer for this question. So in this video, I'm going to be telling you how to teach anything to a preschooler. I'm going to be focusing on 5 subject areas. So I'll be doing math, literacy, art, geography, and science. And I'm going to be focusing on these 5 areas. And I'm going to be telling you how I think developmental instead of subject area, and how that has helped with the children that I've worked with, and especially my own child. Okay, so first thing to note is that all these concepts are abstract. They're all abstract concepts, and it's difficult for a preschooler to understand abstract concepts. And because they are abstract, they're going to memorize it, which they can do. I mean, I'm sure you've seen videos of some 9-month-old or 10, 11, 12-month-old who have memorized like numbers, colors, even alphabets. The truth is, if you show a preschooler something over and over and over again, they will memorize it. Even them watching it from TV, watching this, they say triangle, rectangle, blue, green, they will memorize it. So it's one thing to memorize and another thing to understand. The fact that they've memorized it doesn't mean that they understand what they've memorized or they can even use it. The truth is, when you stop showing it to them, they'll forget all about it. So for me, it's not about memorizing these abstract concepts. It's about understanding it. I believe that indirect experiences with these concepts help it stay ingrained in the child's memory. If I can answer the question why is this important, then I will know how to present it to the child. I'll give you examples in all 5 subject areas. Let's start with math. Math is the one that a lot of people struggle with because I think math is the most abstract concept. I mean, numbers, they're the most abstract, and a lot of children struggle with numbers. It's really hard because it's so abstract. There's math all around us. I mean, we use math to calculate the amount of what we need. We use it to measure. We use it to pay for things. We use it to understand how much time they need to have an understanding of math to be able to tackle life. And then as soon as I realized that, it made it very easy for me to connect the learning with the child and give them that experience, that mathematical experience. And I wish that I could really explain, because the truth is, even presenting it to the child, there are levels, there are stages, because you can't start to do addition and subtraction when the child hasn't even understood one-to-one correspondence. You can't even expect them to understand one-to-one correspondence when they haven't had experience with the numbers. So there are stages to what you present to the child, and I probably will have to do another video, because if I want to talk about the different stages and how to present each stage to the child, we'll probably be here for maybe another 3 days. I have a video that I can play for you, and it will show you how I started to introduce the concept of addition and subtraction to my son. It was very, very easy. He was about 3 years old, and I just did it with him, and honestly, he understood it immediately because we'd done so many things prior to this. Bottles? 3, okay. 3 green bottles hanging on the wall. 3 green bottles hanging on the wall. If 1 green bottle should accidentally fall. How many are there now? 2. There will be 2 green bottles hanging on the wall. 2 green bottles hanging on the wall. If 1 green bottle should accidentally fall. How many left? 1. There'll be 1 green bottle hanging on the wall. Now let's move to literacy. With literacy, I realized if you can read, you can learn anything you want to learn in life, because all you have to do is read it. Whatever you want to learn, whatever it is that you want to learn, you can read up about it and you will learn. There are stages. Get them to learn the sounds, blend the sounds together to produce words, and so much more.
Frog. That is one Augie Frog.
Let alphabet names come later. For your preschooler, focus on the sounds, because if they hear the sounds and they can read any phonetic word. Obviously, for non-phonetic words, there are other things that you need to do. Like I said, there are stages, there are methods. I can't put all of that in this video, but think developmental rather than subject. Let's move to geography. The world is so beautiful. Different cultures, different languages, different people. The world is so beautiful. No one is born prejudiced. Prejudice is learned, and prejudice comes from a fear of what is different from what we know. If you watch children don't care that someone's from a different culture, someone speaks differently, they behave differently, they just love regardless. But as they grow older, they learn that's weird, he's acting weird, that's strange, that's not normal, that's not what we do, that's not how we are. But if from very early on we expose them to different cultures, we expose them to different languages, they see different cultures, then they'll understand that the world is so much bigger than your small space of what you think is supposed to be. The world is so much bigger than just what you see. There's so many people, and they may be weird to you, but in their country and in their culture, they are absolutely normal. And they can only understand this when they're exposed to different cultures and different parts of the world. When our children are exposed to different cultures and the variety that's in the world, they become intrigued rather than fearful. And so I realized that, and I'm like, okay, so in that case, I'm going to travel. So travel is a beautiful way to introduce geography to a preschooler. And you experience their culture. When you go there, you experience their food, you experience their culture, you experience the people. If you can't travel, there are videos, watch videos and just see pictures of the beauty of other cultures as well, and talk to them about it. But I think the most important thing to do is to work on ourselves, because we've grown and we've been conditioned to have this fear for what is not normal, what is different from what we know. We've been conditioned to fear it, and so because of that fear from us, it runs down to our children. Children can sense emotion. You don't have to say it to them. They can feel you looking at that person strange. They listen when you're having conversation on the phone and being like, gosh, I met this girl. Oh my gosh, she's so strange. They can hear that, and that's how they internalize that. And then eventually that's what they display. That's how they become, because they've internalized it from the people around them, the grown-ups around them. We need to work on our own prejudices. We need to expose ourselves to the different cultures, try and understand, be more intrigued about what makes a person different than fearful. When I started to look at geography like that, then it was a no-brainer. It's easy. I know how to present this to my child. When I'm looking at the world, it's not they have to memorize this. It's no, these are the different cultures around. What can we see? What can we say about this? Let's write a story about what we think Asia is like. What are the different countries? Oh, this person is from this part of Asia and that person is from that part of Asia. They're not the same. So when someone says they're from Shanghai, quickly we go to the map and we're like, where is Shanghai? So do you know what I mean? So geography is not just that abstract thing that the child has to learn and fail like I did in school, but it brings it closer to home. It makes it real, and learning it becomes easy. Science, I think, was the hardest for me to wrap my head around. And then it hit me. All children are born with a tendency for exploration. From the day they're born, that's all they want to do. They want to understand the world. They want to understand what this is. They're exploring here and exploring there. That is what science is, isn't it? When we give them the room to explore, to experiment, we're inevitably creating inventors. The simple experiments are what creates that curiosity in the child and eventually helps them to go further on to understand their world. And finally, art. Why art? From the things that exist naturally, like the trees, the sky, the clouds, the grass, the sun, to the buildings that were created by architects' imagination, they're all arts. And exposing them to art at the preschool age is what develops an artistic mind, a mind that wants to create from nothing, a mind that wants to create what is in their imagination. That's what art does. It brings out the beauty in your mind and puts it on a canvas. So yes, that's how I teach it. Very indirect, very experiential, and yeah. When when you think that, it helps you to present it to the child as an experience rather than a subject. It becomes real, they get their hands on it, they understand it, it's ingrained there and they will never forget it. So for me, I keep saying, think developmental rather than subject. And you can get your child to learn anything. This has been a long video. I've enjoyed chatting with you guys, but I've got to go now. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, don't forget to spread love, spread positivity, and live to inspire. I'll see you in my next Q&A video.